Hi. Is this thing on? All right, what do you think? Am I live? Don't know.
Super delayed, but
This is,
you are.
we are sure interested in coming up with a better process for this because every time we come and start live streaming, it's like, are we on? Are we not? I don't know. A couple weeks ago, I broadcasted for 10 minutes and then we realized we weren't broadcasting. So anyway, this is Chris Hinds, Denver City Council District 10 council person. Happy Friday. It's Friday afternoon, and it is the first week after Thanksgiving. I hope everyone enjoyed Thanksgiving. And what?
We're good.
Okay. And uh, So I just want to talk a little bit about who I represent. I represent you if you live in Uptown, Cap Hill, Golden Triangle, Cheeseman, Congress, Cherry Creek Country Club, Belcaro, or the northern part of Spear, as in north of Spear. So this is Denver City Council's District 10, or as they as in us, Denver's Perfect 10. So I talked a lot about values in the campaign. I talked about housing, transportation, and representation, as in we all need access to each of those. And so as we started with the last live stream, we arranged the topics around those themes. So I'm going to start with housing because we don't have housing, so I'm going to move to transportation. So I think we talked about housing at some point in the week, but maybe what we'll do is we'll blend those in to the other topics. So, but transportation is kind of the big issue anyway because we were fielding a lot of constituent calls about transportation in the last week, or frankly, the lack thereof, or lack of access to transportation. As you may have heard, we had a snow that happened starting not this past Monday, but the Monday before, so on Thanksgiving week, and the snow turned into pretty much a blizzard. I think we had a recorded 9.5 inches of snow all in that 24 hours between Monday night and Tuesday. And then it pretty much stopped, but all the precipitation that was on the ground, it stuck around for a while. As Porthos would say, it was kind of a rough week for everyone and probably in the metro area, but certainly in District 10. It was a test of one of my core values that I talk about a lot, as in we all deserve the freedom to get from A to B safely, and regardless of how you choose to get there. And I think it's fair to say that a lot of us felt like we didn't have that freedom. I know I personally felt like a prisoner in my own home because not only was I not able to get out on Tuesday, but because of the lack of snow abatement, I wasn't able to get really anywhere until Friday. And the only reason why I got out on Friday is because I went to the emergency room. Hooray! Or as the cool kids say, the emergency department. Because the hospital has more than one room, I guess. It has a whole department full of rooms. But anyway.
Words matter.
Words matter. That's right. Particularly for legislators, our laws are made of words, and our laws are no better or worse than the words used to craft them. So don't you want someone who's semantic? Well, how come you haven't answered? Mr. Camcorder. So do we have anyone else watching, or is it?
Yes.
Oh, sweet. Okay. I figured I was talking to myself, but we're talking to the camera. So anyway, as I mentioned, I went to the emergency department. I was actually stuck Monday night on the way home from council, and my wheelchair, the one that I'm in, that I sure hope to be getting rid of. The wheelchair company is actually supposed to have been here already, and they're not here. So that's pretty par for the course, unfortunately. But I'm hoping to get rid of this chair today because this is the one that stopped working. the night of council 2 Mondays ago, and I was in the snow/blizzard for about 45 minutes until I got one of my neighbors to come rescue me. So that was not what I had planned to do on the way home from council, and I don't recommend it. So just in case anyone was looking for suggestions or opinions or ideas, that's not a good one. So anyway, I am just one example of District 10 residents and all the struggles that we all have here as a city when our city gambles on using snow, or rather using the sun to abate the snow. So it's sometimes or many times in the city of Denver, we can just wait a few days and the sun melts away the snow. But even this morning, and it's been nearly 2 weeks since the snowfall. Actually, it rained last night. But even this morning, I was going from my home to here in the city and county building, and there was a patch of ice where I slid about 20 feet and almost made it into 18th. That was not fun. I'm not really excited about, and because the ice, I wasn't able to turn or spin. I was just sliding into the street. But this snow situation is a good way to illustrate how our city works. Public Works, as you know, is the group that's responsible for deploying all the snowplows. Public Works is also the group responsible for enforcing all of our right-of-way violations, including snow abatement or the lack thereof. It's their critical component of my master plan, to make sure that we all have the freedom to get from A to B safely. And but Public Works is all in the executive branch, as in they report to the mayor. I am in the legislative branch, and Public Works doesn't report to me, and that's fine. Where, in the legislative branch, we're elected to create consensus and develop collaboration, and so I'm doing my best to reach out to Public Works and the leadership there, and I would love, Director Cleckley, if you're listening and watching, I still want you to be my best friend. So I'm really looking forward to helping Public Works be as effective as it can, and if there's a better way for us to communicate the concerns that we've had from District 10 residents to Public Works, we're definitely investigating options. So, but to be clear, they don't report to us, and we can't tell them what to do. We can suggest, we can advocate on your behalf, but we can't dictate. Yeah, sure.
Comment.
Yeah. Ooh.
Sure would be nice to have a Public Works Advisory Board, eh?
Oh, we could.
Leslie Torgowski, who introduced that idea.
Yes. What about a PWAB, right? Public Works Advisory Board. I like it. That would be a fun idea. I wonder if, actually, since we're spitballing here, I wonder if it makes sense for the legislative branch to have advisory boards. So right now, the executive branch has boards and commissions, and they serve at the pleasure of the mayor. So if you have any thoughts on this, I'd be curious to hear them, or put in the comments down below. What about having boards report to the legislative branch? Because as being a former commissioner myself of Denver Commission, I know that the process of having the mayor take a position is, in a Denver Commission, the commission fills out a form and submits that to the mayor's office, and then the mayor's office reviews it. And if the mayor agrees, then the mayor can announce that position. If the mayor, and the commission cannot. If the mayor disagrees, no one can announce that. So, I mean, I recognize that it makes sense. All these commissioners report to the mayor. They serve at the pleasure of the mayor. So of course he wants to have some control over what is becoming public as a result of those boards and commissions. But I don't know. Maybe city council should have some advice that is at a more specific level, like public works. So let me know what you think. So going back to snow abatement and the separation between the executive and legislative branches. So we got a lot of concerned residents. I think concerned is a very kind way to put it. Frustrated, angry residents about, why can't you do something? Well, the legislative branch, as you know, makes laws. We legislate things, and in this case, there are already rules on the books. In fact, the rules are, as far as snow abatement, is that residents have 24 hours and businesses 4 hours to shovel the snow after the snowfall stops. So if the snow goes for a whole day, then they have, the whole day plus another 24 hours after the snow stops for residents to shovel the snow. So that's, I think that's, there has to be a balance, right? I mean, we can't require residents to truck out into a blizzard and start shoveling the snow because it's 4 hours after the snow starts. So I think it's reasonable to say it should be the timer should start after the snow stops, but at some point, if that snow, if it stays on the ground for a while, it turns to ice, and that's kind of where we are now, and that's where the real trouble begins. So we already have rules on the books. Certainly open to whatever other legislative suggestions you might have, but really at this point we're kind of reliant on enforcement of those rules. So we go back to how I want Public Works I want to collaborate with them as best I can, and I want to be your best friend, Director Clickley. So there is a perception, and perception isn't necessarily reality, that Denver rarely enforces snow removal rules. I've been really open to my interest in establishing a relationship with Public Works, and what I would suggest is, as I mentioned earlier, I'm really interested in doing what I can to support Public Works, and their official suggestion is to reach out to 311 and log your concerns with 311. Well, as reported in the media, specifically the Denver Post, but I also think it was reported elsewhere too, as of Monday, only 2 tickets had been issued, and they had a backlog of over 700 complaints, and no estimate of when those complaints will be addressed. So makes it kind of tough for people when they read those sorts of statistics in the media. So one of the things that we've also been spitballing is the idea of maybe we can find a way to collect data on behalf of the District 10 residents and provide that to Public Works. And maybe that would involve going through 311. Maybe it would involve using technology. I have a computer science degree, so I think that government can benefit from some additional technology. I think government's always a little behind, or often a little behind the private sector as far as technology adoption. But I want to have that discussion too. Like, should we come up with an app, kind of like Waze, where you can report snow issues using the app, and then suddenly now everyone knows, oh, there's a snow issue there, including Public Works. And then we can track here in the District 10 office those reports to see if they're resolved quickly, how long it takes for them to get resolved. And because right now, we in the District 10 office have no way of saying, you as a District 10 resident submitted something to 311 and you say 311 never listens, or that 311 arbitrarily early closes tickets before they're addressed. We don't have a way to know that for certain without asking 311, who are, they're just kind of on the honor system to self-report whether they are arbitrarily closing tickets before they're actually finished. So anyway, but the other challenge is, how do we make sure the city's doing its job to keep all travelways clear? And that's not just roads, not just bike lanes, but also curb ramps and sidewalks too. So again, fitting into the idea of we all deserve the freedom to get from A to B and feel safe while doing it. Another thing that we did is we did a survey last week, and it was our first time using the technology for the survey. And I'm sorry, by last week I mean Monday of this week. So time's not flying. I'm not having enough fun, or I don't know. But and the survey we had up for just under 7 hours. We had 500 responses in that just under 7 hours, and that's we decided to end the survey at 500. And we learned some lessons. In the business world, they say lessons learned. And in my world, what I just said, I'm just going to say it again. We learned a lot of lessons from our maiden voyage of the survey tool. First of all, I didn't do a very good job of double checking my dates. I made a mistake and used October instead of November, and November instead of December, and so that threw some people off. Another mistake that I made was the questions that I asked weren't as obvious as I thought they were, and so there was a little bit of confusion about the nature of the questions. And then a third thing is I'd asked on a please rate things on a scale of 1 to 5, and I asked people to do that, and I thought I published a rubric, but there were some people who reported all 1s, and there were some people who reported all 5s, and that doesn't, I'm not sure that it makes a whole lot of sense that people were totally, completely in agreement that the snow shoveling was fine, and then other people were totally in disagreement that the snow shoveling was fine. Maybe that was the case, but I think I'm more willing to chalk it up to I should be more obvious in the future on the scale. We actually published all of that analysis on our Facebook page. So go down to the corner. It's Facebook. Well, you're on my page. It's not there? Oh, well, hopefully you'll be able to find me, even though there's a void down here somewhere. Yeah, so check Chris for Denver, or facebook.com/Chris for Denver. Sorry. Don't do that, because this is, facebook.com/DenverPerfect10, and we do have the analysis and some of the mistakes that I made. I want to be open and transparent. So when I screw up, I want to say that I screwed up, and I'm public about it. But one of the biggest takeaways is people generally felt that this past snowstorm, the one a week ago, was about, was in line with storms from previous years. And people were generally in disagreement that the snow removal was satisfactory. One interesting thing that I found was Public Works announced an unprecedented decision to go back out and have the regional trucks in residential neighborhoods. And so I asked two questions. I said, what was your thought process on the snow removal before that decision? And then what's your thought process on the snow removal after that decision? And I don't know why this is the case, but interestingly, people were angrier about the snow removal after than before. So if you guys can help me out why you think that might be, I'm all ears, and a lot of other body parts too. But I'm really interested in hearing what you have to say. So talked a lot about snow removal. The last thing I'd say is, again, about technology. If you have any suggestions on how we can utilize technology to make public works more successful, please let us know. So let's go on to representation. So on Tuesday, District 10 attended the Police District 3 Commanders Advisory Board meeting. So Neighborhood Watch is something that is a movement around the nation. District 3 has been taking the lead in developing Police District 3, which includes Country Club, Cherry Creek, and Belcaro in Denver's District 10. And Alamo Placida. So Police District 3's Neighborhood Watch has been more successful than the other districts, and so it's been really interesting watching DPD 3 take the lead in creating those relationships with the community. I think that the statistics, when you read about the advantages of Neighborhood Watch, I think they're compelling. It is in line with the whole idea of getting eyes on the street. Police can't be everywhere. It's not economically feasible. And, well, frankly, if police were everywhere, I would fear for our government. I mean, I would fear for the people, because our government would be, we'd effectively be in a police state, and I don't want to live in a police state. Let's see. Oh, and if you're interested in learning more about the Neighborhood Watch, contact Teresa, and she'll hook you up. That's what it says. Who wrote this, by the way? Oh, okay. So Teresa says she's got the hookup. So there you go. On Wednesday, District 10 participated in a community meeting regarding the storm water work. That's right. We got some waterworks, and it's not because we had to deal with our family all weekend. It's there's going to be some drainage work and wastewater work. Unfortunately, that's two different projects, and unfortunately, they're happening in the same location. Well, I guess that's kind of nice, but they're happening in the same location. They aren't necessarily happening at the same time, but 14th and Colorado is going to be pretty snarled up for at least 7 months. Sorry to break that to you if you didn't know already, but that is a huge concern, right? I mean, people are already concerned about traffic. 14th and Colorado is right there next to National Jewish and Colfax in Colorado. That's a very busy area of the city, and so having at Jackson and 14th shut down, and it's the installation actually goes, I think, for a few blocks. So that's really going to be inconvenient, to put it kindly. Liz attended the Sustainability Summit on Thursday and is really excited about some of the innovations that she's learned to help us inform future decisions on climate impact. Liz, are you really excited? Are you? On a scale of 1 to 5, how excited are you? Really? So really not excited? See, that's the advantage of having the rubric before you answer the question, right? So Really, I'm so sorry about the survey, and I mean, I think we had reasonable data, but that was our maiden voyage, and just as I think this is live stream number 6. We're still working out the kinks in the live stream. Hopefully, we'll be able to work out the survey kinks a little faster. Oh, and one other takeaway about the survey, I think people really like surveys. So people were really excited, and they were sad that they missed the survey had already closed. So we're definitely going to work on more, and we just want to make sure that we iron out a little of the little more of the details. So one of the sessions that she attended covered creating and fostering transit-oriented development, or mobility-oriented development, TODs or MODs. So I think it's TOD, but whatever. The focus was on the built environment around mobility hubs. While District 10 doesn't have any light rail stations, we're full of it. Full of residents, maybe both, who use alternative modes of transportation to get around. The creation of a virtual mobility hub in Cherry Creek to connect passengers to the nearby light rail stations was mentioned. And another opportunity to improve TOD, MOD in District 10 is the Civic Center Station. So that's a huge hub. That's actually the second busiest hub in the state, behind the airport. So pretty darn busy. And it's interesting that it's busier than Union Station, but for now it is the second busiest behind the airport. It's a major hub for those living and working in the urban core, but it's not inviting. I mean, I don't really have a lot of fun in Civic Center Station, but I think there's supposed to be another page, because it says, I'll be following up with Denver's TOD manager, comma, and that's the bottom of the page. So maybe that's why there's no housing, is it's on another page somewhere. Happy Friday. So anyway, and Liz just walked out of the room. So do you have any thoughts, questions, concerns? I'm happy to answer whatever questions you might have. Anyone? Anyone? No? All right. Well, maybe what we can do is sign off, because I'm sure my wheelchair repair company will be here any minute. They're going to be here right at 1 o'clock, and it's like 12:59, right? Something like that. There's no clock in here, so I'm assuming we're just right there. So, okay, well, have a wonderful weekend, and we'll chat with you next Friday. Bye.